Welcome to Heartmenders Live with Carol Gordon, where Jesus has been changing hearts and lives since 1987 that I know of, just here. He's been doing it for a long time. I'm your host, and my guest today is Florence Mailu, and we are lifting up the name of Jesus around the world today. Um, Florence has a not-for-profit called Akamba Community USA, where she keeps united people from her a region of Africa and Kenya, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. And there's like 3 counties, and she gets the people from there that are in the United States together to maintain community. Isn't that wonderful? But she has a journey through life that she wants to share with you, and I'm eager to hear. Again, I've heard some of it before, so we're going to find this out. And tell me the circumstances where you came into the world, and about your family and what happened to you from there.
Yeah, thank you, Carol.
Yes.
It's good to meet you and to know what you have been doing in your life
Thank you.
as heart members.
Yes.
I think that's what we all are about.
Yes.
Supporting each other.
Yes, it is.
And making a difference in others'
Exactly.
life.
Exactly.
Well, my name is Florence Mailu, and I was born in Kenya and in a tribe called Akamba, but in Ukambani area, where I was raised like any other African child that you have known of. And I grew up in the village where we did all kinds of chores, fetching water, looking after cattle if you have any.
Yes.
Doing the tilling in the farms with our parents.
An agricultural village.
Yes, agricultural for sustainable food.
Yes, yes.
For us to be able to feed ourselves and manage our lives. And that was a routine. It was just a way of life.
Yeah, the way people have lived for a long time.
Yes, and we enjoyed it. We enjoyed our childhood because we didn't know any better or anything to compare with.
Yes.
And I think we were blessed that way.
Yes.
So I happened to be born of parents that were Christians. And I was fairly comfortable in terms of feeling the security of being loved.
Oh, wonderful.
And growing among the grown-ups. People who wanted to be around you and support you so that you can grow up with some meaningful life.
Yes.
And
that's
first of all, they feared
blessing.
God and they were Christians.
Yes.
And with that...
And not everybody has that. And
not everybody has that.
And that is a wonderful heritage.
Yes, and you can't take it for granted. But it has made me who I am to date.
Yes.
And I thank God for it, because when I grew up in the village, I was able to go to Sunday schools. It was very important because my parents were Protestants. They belonged to a church called African Inland Church. I don't know what it is in the Western world. And they married there. And when I reached an age of going to school, I happened to be taken to a Catholic school where the nuns were teaching us.
I see.
They were from Ireland, and they belonged to an order called Holy Rosary Sisters. And I remember because when we went to primary school, they used to cook wheat for us. I don't know where it was coming from. I guess it was imported because they thought most of us or other children, some of them did not have a meal. So this could have been their only meal they had, because sometimes the drought really hits hard.
So they fed the children as well as taught.
Yes. And we were just going on daily basis. We were not boarders then. So it was nice, and they taught us. And I thought that was a very special attention that we got, because it was both feeding our bodies and souls, of
Yes.
course. And it was nice. It was nice upbringing. I cannot complain. And my mother always told me, hold on to my skirt, because if you want to be guided to grow up to be somebody responsible and be a better human being, hold on to my skirt and follow me.
Follow.
Wherever she went to till the farm, if she was harvesting coffee for survival or for her own when she grew her own.
Okay.
And
So follow the
I
example.
follow her, and then you
And-
don't have to worry about keeping other wrong companies as you grew up. And eventually we went to boarding schools where we were also taught by nuns because
Was that like our junior high or high school? What level did you go to boarding school?
high school.
High school.
Yeah, but usually even in primary school you can go to
You
elementary school,
can.
you can go to boarding schools. But they were really well organized that during we go to school 3 months and 1 month we rest. We go home. 3 months and 1 month you go home to be with your parents. And there it's very interesting how you don't realize what you're lacking as you go on. There's one thing that I've realized that I've lacked, and it was when I'm here, because I didn't realize then. Books, library books, we didn't have any. But we had a teacher with a textbook to teach you. And that's all we got. And somehow we survived. So God works in very mysterious way in taking care of everybody.
Yes,
And
he does.
when you talk about heart menders, I realized the impact my parents made on me, protecting me, making sure that I know I'm a responsible person from the word go, taking care of my chores, and going to high school, still in the nun school. I've been to nun school until I finished university here. So they were always guiding you, because it's not them, it's because they are led with what backs them to do what they do.
Yes.
Which of course, God, and of course the work of Jesus, because Jesus came to serve and to save.
Yes.
And he even gave his life,
He
because
did.
he gave and gave and gave.
Yes, he did.
So in my life, I've received both Christ and I've received the help that I needed to grow to be responsible for what I undertake to do. And that impacts also other younger ones that I come across. So I have appreciated my growth, because it makes me not just think about myself, but think about others.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
That's a wonderful
It's just like-
upbringing.
Exactly.
And the examples that you had before you, both in your parents and the teachers, was exemplary. It's very good.
Yes. So when you talk about heart mending, everybody has a situation that need uplifting.
Yes.
And when you're Christian, you got to not think about yourself, but think of what difference can I make in other people's lives.
Yes.
Because it's not about you, it's about others.
That's right.
In the course of my education, I did a study. I got a degree in business and got a job back home. When I went back, because I missed home, and I was able to serve in different capacities.
Tell me about your college and coming to the United States.
Well, what happened was that, as I told you, that some of the impacts that came to my life were the parents and then the nuns, and especially the nuns and the teachers. Somehow they thought I deserve some attention, and it was an eye-opener to have some suggest that I should go for further education, and they organized for that. And when I came and I was met by somebody with a veil after traveling for almost 2 days in the air, because it was a long journey that time for me, from high school to come all the way, miles and miles, to fly all the way, first time in the plane. And when I was wondering, what in the world am I doing to myself? And when I came, I was met by the nuns, and I couldn't believe that finally I felt like there's somebody to take care of me. From high school, it's not easy when you have not been very far, even in town, much of town,
Yeah.
around in your area. So I was really well taken care of. I can't complain because
Where
all
was
was
the
guided.
Yes, where was the college located?
First, I started in upstate New York, and it was all run by nuns, and I was very happy. Then I went to DC a little bit, and then got a scholarship to go to Caldwell University now in New Jersey. And that's where I got the degree, and it's all run by nuns. And so it was all guided. And they didn't have to do that, but they did it for what they stood for,
Yes.
serving God. You see?
Yes.
So after that, when I got the degree, I got a job. When I went back, I got a job with Central Bank. And while
And
there,
you worked in banks here before
no,
you
no,
went
no,
back?
no.
Okay.
I worked at the embassy part-time during the summers, and sometimes part-time in DC, because it was not too far from New Jersey. And then eventually while there, at some point, I got one of the visitors in the embassy was a deputy governor of Central Bank, who was Mr. Abdallah. And he asked me, I was at the reception, and he gave me a card and asked me, what are you reading? What are you studying? I said, business administration. And he said, here is my card. When you finish, come, I'll give you a job. We'll give you a job because we are looking for people with this kind of background. And jobs were not scarce then. They were looking for people. So when I got there and I found the card again, I wrote a note. I took a photocopy and I sent a note to him. And I was called. At that time, I was at the USAID working. I had gotten a job. But I figured, since I've done business, I'll be better off in the banking industry. Let me go and attempt it.
Yes.
I went there, and I was interviewed, and I was given a job. I was seconded to start Kenya Institute of Bankers, which was training, the central training for banking industry. You had to organize lectures, you had to organize annual dinners for them, for the banking industry, and also organize lectures for those who are studying banking so that they know what they are doing and they do it better.
That's wonderful.
And also, so I did
sounds
that
like a really nice job.
Yes, I was the executive officer, and I did that for 3 years. It was supposed to be 2 years, but it went on for 3 years. Some of my other exposure, or rather jobs, included liquidating banks. We did to liquidate 2 banks, Kenya Finance and Post Bank Credit. And it was through the central bank that I was seconded to do that, and it was my last assignments. Prior to that, while at the Institute of Bankers, I was called by the same deputy governor, and he told me that the central bank, the World Bank, had written to them asking them to do something about poverty because they were not addressing it. And I was told, go think about it and see what you can come up with. And thank God, I was new, but still I went to the banking industry and looked for women in that who are leaders now in the industries and banking especially. And I got a hold of very, very strong, well-leveled, educated women leaders in Kenya.
Yes.
And that included a lady called Mailu, She was the first woman bank manager in Kenya. And she was in charge of a branch, a bank branch, which was Barclays Bank, and it was just like a block from me. So I called her, and I called another lady in charge of she was the town clerk of the city council, which is a big post. Her name was Zipora Wandera. And there was another lady, managing director of Kenya Industrial Estate, who was Veronica Nyamodi. I remember them all. It was like, yes, it is like yesterday. And then another lady in another big bank. Big bank meant has so many branches, and was called, the lady was called Grace Givel. And I called them, and they came so that we can address this idea. And you won't believe the support I got.
Oh, wonderful.
And we thrashed it together, and we came up with establishing an organization called Kenya Women Finance Trust. And it was to finance women who have no collateral, who cannot get collateral. Most of the women who we were going to address were people who were selling at along the shops, in the evening.
Street vendors.
Street vendors. They would go buy their wares, vegetables, onions, cabbages, potatoes, tomatoes, and the rest. And they will come and spread them on the streets. And the city security would come and pull their wares and throw them in the trucks. Or, they really were harassed here and then because they were on the pavement where people were walking in the evening, going home.
Yes.
So they
Which is where you would find customers.
Which is where you will find customers. So it went on. It was their lifeline, because they had to feed their children. But some would succeed, some wouldn't. One day it's good, the other day it's not good. So we addressed those, and we approached some, and we talked to them, and we asked them, if you're given money, what would you do? And they say, how much would you need? And you would be surprised. Some needed just $10, some 50, hardly more than that, equivalent. And they really did it very well. And this lady in the banking industry managed to open an account for them there, and they did it well.
Oh, good. So that would enable them to actually set up in a place that they were safe to sell.
Yes.
Or
buy more
or buy more quantity.
And eventually graduate to opening a small kiosk or a shop.
Yes.
And so they grew up to be better business people, equipped, be able to buy more stock, and some shop vendors, some shopkeepers came and got more money. Their repayment of loans were 98% honored. And to date, Kenya Women Finance Trust, and you can Google it, is a big, huge microfinancing bank.
Oh, how wonderful.
I was reading about it, and it has financed more than 400,000 loans. It has grown to a big bank or financial institution, and it is all over the country. It reaches people in the villages, and now does not just finance women, finances whoever needs these loans.
That is
which
wonderful.
Is very good.
It's wonderful.
So I've been part of that.
I'm sure that the our viewers, harking back to what you said about they saw something in you, realize they saw something in you. that they saw some the quality in you that would make it possible for you to take on these kinds of assignments and have the confidence to carry them through. Of course, the value of yourself as a person that your parents put in your heart, that you were worth something, that you were cared about.
Yes.
Put you on such a better foundation than so many people have. And the Lord can take, when you can say, when you're the kind of person that say, yes, I can, to Him and to other people, in the right way,
Mm.
then he can do a whole lot.
Yes, and you don't have to have anything.
Mm-hmm.
All you need to have is the idea
Mm-hmm.
and work on it and talk about it and think
Yes.
about it.
Yes.
Expound on it and
Yes.
share it. And because you are focused on the end result, getting something achieved,
Mm-hmm.
done, not necessarily for you,
Yes.
but for those people
Mm-hmm.
who have no exposure
Yes.
to what you have. And you don't realize what
Yes.
God can do through you
Right.
until you let Him.
Yes. And when they see that you could do it
Mm-hmm.
or could do something more
Mm-hmm.
than where you were,
Mm-hmm.
that was an example to them that they would think, I can do it too.
Yes.
And
And then
then the example
the
that we
spread of the
set.
gospel,
Yes.
because the
Yes.
gospel is not
Exactly
preaching
the way.
alone,
Exactly.
it's
That's how
doing.
that's exactly how the gospel spreads.
Yes. And I'm so happy to be associated with Kenya Women Finance Trust and of course the Institute of Bankers and the Central Bank. I owe it to my growth. I owe them to my growth because they gave me an opportunity too.
Mm-hmm.
And to the nuns who have
Yes.
shown me,
Oh, yes.
you don't have to be mighty and, you can do it
And make a difference.
and make a difference.
That's wonderful.
So I'm a founder member of Kenya Women Finance Trust.
Uh-huh.
So I feel that it is a good thing that we did.
Yes.
The other thing is that when I came here, I keep on praying and wondering, what can I do? And after seeing certain situations that really affected me, affected some people that were closer to me in my heart, what they went through, how somebody can be so torn, heartbroken. When they are abroad, they feel lost.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you suffer without talking.
Yes.
And sometimes it can
Often,
be seen
very
through
often.
what the experiences you go through.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to get my tribal people together because we can't forget who you are. Your background
Yes.
makes you. So just to share a meal to me
Mm-hmm.
means something.
Yes.
Because some people may not know so and so lives in the next town or is around or within the state, or somebody else lives outside the state, but they know them. There's a forum for us to meet and just not do anything else but share a meal,
Yes.
get to know one another. Our children has the opportunity to know each other,
Yes.
even improve some bit of their language and talk to the others. And no, yes, we have a forum to have sense of belonging.
Yes.
You know,
To perpetuate your heritage.
exactly,
Even
and
if
not
you're in
lose your
if,
culture.
yeah, if you're in another culture,
Mhm.
you do some adapting, but to honor
Of
where you came
who you are,
from,
yes.
it's very important.
Yes. And when I think of my background, it's so humble that you do not forget who you are. You are who you are. Your identity, you're an American.
Yes.
And you are who you are. You are actually the environment you are brought up
Yes.
in, and you are made of what surrounded you as you were growing up.
That's right.
So I happen to be born in this area, which comprises of 3 counties. The tribe has occupied 3 counties: Machakos, Makueni, and Kitui, in the east side of Kenya. And it gets quite dry because most of the areas are flat. And the water is precious, but you can imagine what you could do without water. What the situation you would be without water.
Oh yes, that's become that. I understand from reading I've done and people that I've heard speak that water is going to become the treasure of the world because
without water there's no life.
Yes.
So what happened was that in the course of my thinking and searching myself and searching as to what else can I do, what else, I can't just sit there, just get out in the smooth roads, drive a car, have water running in my kitchen and in the...
So you moved back to the United States eventually?
Yes, I moved back because my children went to school here because we wanted them educated. I got married, had children, but our children, we wanted education. In Africa, people will sell what they have, and literally what they have to educate their children. They may not have the education. My mother never went to school, but they want that education that brings light into their child to do better than they did. That's what they want. So my mission was to educate my kids and my brother's kids, and I did.
That's wonderful.
So and so when my daughter came here, they both went to high school here, and especially the 11th grade, both of them. I have two children, Faith and Abito, and they have gone to school.
And they chose to stay here, so mom and dad came too.
Yes.
Well,
we came, but my husband died before we came back.
Oh.
You know.
Oh. So you just came.
I just came just to follow up educating the little boy who we didn't want him to go on his own. We were going to come together so that we can support him. He can have a base to go from and go to school. You know, he doesn't have to worry about food or accommodation.
Oh, yes, that's right.
But the other one came because my niece was here doing master's degree, and she happened to be taken care of by her. So we brought my niece first.
That's right.
So it was so nice that that at least they're educated to master's level, which is good, and they are able to. They serve the military here, both of them. One is still in the military.
Oh, okay.
In the army, the last one.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a return back to what they got from here,
that's
which is
wonderful.
Good. Give back. So now, when we are all here, I cannot forget what to do. I have a lot of work to do for my people back there. And I'm with the dinners organized and all this, I thought of something more. And I shared with some people from the same area that in the dinners, I identified some people that were thinking the same, feeling like, what can I do to give back? We cannot forget the people that we were lifted, we were held hand by somebody. And we have started this organization called Akamba Community USA Incorporation. And we are addressing water and library books.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. We are out of time. You won't believe it already.
Anybody interested in joining us
is
welcome to work with us in getting
her Florence's email is fmailu, MAILU 2010 @gmail, and her phone number is 405-314-2917. They don't have a website yet, but it's Akamba Community USA. And they're people from that area looking to give back.
Or here.
Yes,
and
anybody
partners.
else wants to participate, they're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So you can find out more about it with that information. And so we just are so thrilled that you joined in today and viewed and heard her wonderful story. Because stories are what really bless us and make things real to us. And so we hope that you will enjoy other stories on Live with Carol Gordon, which are there on YouTube. And just thank the Lord for what he does in people's lives. We are showcasing what Jesus does in people's lives and how he helps them to do what he's called them to do. We're all here for a purpose, and we need to find that purpose and do it. So you can find out more about Heartmenders at heartmenders.org and healingyourland.org. You can call for prayer at 405-495-HOPE. And we do prayer for people and have prayer teams. So please like us and comment and share us. I'm Carol Gordon, and you've been watching Heartmenders Live with Carol Gordon, and where hearts and lives are changed. So be blessed, and bye for now. We love you. Jesus loves you.
Thank you.
Be blessed, and bye for now.
Thank you.